our Success Mastermind for Monday, the 20th of June already, 2022. John Lavenia here with you. It's good to be here. TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. And we do have a lot of good stuff going on here in the Success Mastermind. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern US time, we are going to have 2 more chapters from You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. So chapters 5 and 6, we attempted to do chapters 3, 4, and 5 last week. We only got through 3 and 4. We're going to do 5 and 6 this week. So read up on that. Good stuff. And be here at 9 p.m. Eastern US time. Guests are invited. So jlsuccessmastermind.com/books if people want to just participate in the book study group. And what else? I think that is it for announcements for today. So the title of today's talk, how to make your life easier. Anybody interested in that? All right. Oh my goodness. And I was, what prompted this was just attempting to speak with Linda just before we went live here. There was a technical problem. And I was thinking, you know what? How many times have we dealt with problems, issues, challenges, things breaking that slowed us down? Okay. And the question that comes up for me as I consider, how much time I've actually spent in handling problems is, were they necessary to handle? So I'm going to offer you a couple ideas, and I'd like to see where you want to go with this. First idea is there's a difference between problems, barriers, challenges, issues that need to be addressed, solved, overcome, and distractions. There's a difference between the two. And I did some study on the various attributes of what people would call genius. So not just in terms of like an IQ test, but some of the attributes of genius. And one of them is the ability to differentiate between problems and distractions. That sounds like an interesting factor. And yet, how many times have we seen ourselves perhaps go down, some rabbit hole that you didn't even need to go down? And have we not seen other people who have made mountains out of molehills? That's an old saying, right? Where here is something that isn't going to actually move the needle in their business or in their fitness or in their life, and yet they are consumed with it to their own detriment and to the detriment of others who are in their midst, right? I mean, individuals are also involved in groups, right? And you show up in the group, and the average intelligence of the group can be raised or lowered with each participant. Okay, so the ability to differentiate and discriminate between barriers to be overcome and distractions to be ignored is a very intelligent thing to do. That's huge. Okay, now I'm going to give you a story. I had a piece of software that I was working on. This was a web design platform, which I've used for years, and I was looking to put in some special functionality that was going to, do some special stuff on this website. A display slider, if you know what a slider is, it slides the images like testimonials, right? Here's a success story from person A, person B, and it slides those images and text across the screen, on a timer. Sounds cool, right? And it's just a piece of code. And so I went to install this code into this already existing web page that I had put together, and I couldn't get it to work. Something was going on with this thing. It just wasn't working. It's supposed to be easy. This is supposed to make my life easier, this piece of code. I'm not a programmer. The programmer guy made the code, so just put in this code into the, into the thing, and there it goes. I couldn't get it to work. I spent an hour on it. And then I spent another hour on it. And then another hour on it. Here I am 3 hours in on this piece of software that's supposed to make my life easier. I eventually figured it out. It was a silly little thing. You guys want to know what the little thing was that caused my life to not be so easy? Okay. So, so on my computer, on my plain text documents, on a Mac, it's called TextEdit. On a PC, it's called Notepad. You could choose to have formatted, like rich text, or unformatted plain text. Here I was taking this piece of code off of this website, putting it onto a plain text document so I can then paste it into this design software. And the settings on that software, on just the plain text document, included, and I had it set to plain text. Wasn't like, oh, I want to see rich text and bold. No, I don't want any, no formatting. Okay. But the setting was fancy quote marks. So you ever see two quotes that are straight down? Straight down. Okay. And then there's the single like apostrophe, and then there's the quotes, right? Straight down. But then there's the open and close quotes, which are a little bit curved. And the settings on my computer were to use fancy quotation marks. Well, that's a syntax error. You can't have fancy quote. That's not part of the code. The code was quotation marks, not fancy quotation marks. That took me 3 hours to figure that out. And I jumped for joy when I did figure it out, but I also cried a little bit because I was thinking, why am I even doing this? There are people who, like, they live for code. Like, they know, they could have seen that fast. Oh, what is that? We never use quotes like that. It's always straight down. That's programming. That's for people to look at. This is for computers to look at. Okay. So then it was incumbent upon me to make some decisions about, do I delegate this stuff, or do I continue to bang my head against the wall with something that was supposed to be plug and play? Clearly, that's not my realm of genius. Okay. I'll never make that mistake again, though. Now, I mean, you can give me that piece of code. If I see curved quotation marks, like my spidey sense, I mean, I'll see it immediately. I'm talking about something that big on your screen, and I will see it immediately. Okay. Because now I know how to work with that kind of code. To what end? I've never used that code ever again since. Hours of my life were gone doing things that somebody else could have done in seconds, that I spent hours doing, and therefore not doing the things that could have moved the needle forward in my life and in my business. Things that guy can't do. Only I can do. My zone of genius. Now, this is a conversation that obviously we're going down the road of like delegation and boundaries, really being able to say no to things which complicate your life. And if the title of our talk is how to make your life easier, then I think the simplest thing that we could do to achieve ease is to pick our battles. Now, I mentioned before, people, consuming themselves and their attention with a lot of things that don't move the needle. Okay. One great example of that is watching the news. Watching the news. So I don't think it's news. I don't think it's, a new piece of data for anyone here that broadcast news and mass media and all that is designed for profit, right? It's an enterprise. They're here to profit. By what? By selling ad space to show to who? To show to you. So who's the product? You're the product in that scenario. And if they can get you to watch more by pressing your emotional buttons, not that you can do anything about it, right? They're just telling you what supposedly is. Okay. But if they can push your buttons and capture your attention and keep your attention, well, they get to sell more ad space. Again, you're the product. And I've seen myself and others, right? You can't point the finger without three more pointing back. But I've seen myself get consumed in whatever the narrative might be at the moment. And then I've also seen, and Lindsay's an expert at this, I think she is. I've also seen myself go on media fast. Okay, so a media fast could be, let's say, for example, a 90-day run where you do not consume any media. You don't even look. My wife actually has software on her computer which blocks her from certain websites. Like she's an adult, okay, but she loaded the software. It's kind of like child safety software, but it's for grown-ups. and no, you cannot go to Yahoo News right now. No, Shannon, we're not opening that site for you. So it's actually like a plugin for her browser or something. So you could take it to that next step, I suppose, if you don't have the discipline to just not type news or whatever. Now, the interesting thing is when we separate ourselves from whatever narratives are happening, and then we come back later, we decide, let's catch up on current events. All the stuff that I missed for the last week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, they're talking about other stuff now. So like this drama that I missed for these couple of weeks, month, whatever, is now, they're not even talking about that anymore. Now here's the new drama. It's kind of like a TV show. It kind of is, right? So with a TV show, you've got a never-ending cycle of story, right? Tune in again next time for the next episode, for the unfolding of more drama, which they're not going to solve the mystery, right? I mean, you got to tune in next time again, right? So there's always something new happening, and it's a series, right? It's a series. Like if you watch a movie, like, Top Gun Maverick or something, there's start and then drama and then stop, right? But with a TV show, it's start, drama, 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 drama forever until the viewership gets so low that they, find an exit strategy. But we've got the never-ending cycle of having our attention on stuff. Now, with a TV show, right? If you miss the drama and you come back later, it may not make sense, right? Well, what happened, right? Who killed JR or whatever? You guys remember that? What was that? Dallas back in the 1970s or something? Who shot JR? Okay. Which I have no idea. I've never seen an episode of. All I know is people were like crazy about this who shot JR thing. So but with a narrative that isn't like an entertainment thing, I guess you could consider it that. You can come back and pick up right where you left off and have copious amounts of things to consume your attention, with or without the context of what happened 3 episodes, 2 months ago, whatever. Okay. You can catch up really quick. So to make our life easier, what I'm going to do and what I have been doing and what I would suggest that you do is take some inventory on where your attention goes each day. There's an application. It's a scary application. I know for our Shannon and I run our advanced coaching program, the CEO Freedom Accelerator. And this is an exercise we do with people. Takes a couple of weeks to get it up and running and working for you. But anybody ever heard of an application called A Tracker? A Tracker. A couple of you, yeah, Lindsay, you're in CFA, right? So if you go into your app store and you look for A Tracker, and there's a couple competing applications, but this is the one that I've chosen. I like it. Upgrade to the $5, paid version. You just pay $5 one time and you got it. There's a free version too, but in A Tracker, the essence of this software, once you set it up with all the different activities that you have through your day. Now, I know Mandy's intimately familiar with A Tracker. Mandy's here with us. Mandy and I spent a bunch of time on this app, and it's very revealing. Okay, so let's say you load the application with tasks that you do on a regular basis: exercise, eat, shower, grooming, whatever, drive the kids to the place, business, actions and different just things that happen throughout your day that you're consciously aware of. You just go ahead and put those into the app as potential tasks that you could do throughout the day. Okay. And then the way the application works is anytime you start a task, let's say, for example, Lindsay's driving the kids to the baseball game. So the task could be drive. That's a general thing, right? How much time, and I'm just using Lindsay as an example here. I'm not accusing you of anything, but how much time does Lindsay spend driving, right? To the grocery store, to the baseball game, to the whatever. Drive. That is the title of the task. And you click the go button when you start driving. And then when you get there, whatever the next task is, right? Shopping at the grocery store, right? You click the shopping button and it stops the driving action and switches over to the shopping action. And then when you come out of the store, you get in your car, you click the drive button and you drive home. And at the end of the day, you'll get to see where all your time went. amazingly revealing. Now, I say it takes a couple weeks to get the juice out of this thing, because the first week you're going to forget. Oh, I didn't click the button. Oh, crap. And I can go manually add stuff later. But that's not the point of the app. The point of the app is that it's in the device that you've got on you at all times. I think it even interfaces with Apple Watches and stuff. I don't use an Apple Watch. But anyway, and you get into the habit over the first week of always indicating what action you're starting. Okay. And then you start a next one and it stops the last one. Right. First week, the data is going to be crappy because you don't have the habit yet. Second week, it'll be better data. Right. Do it for a couple more weeks. It's going to be dead on, like, holy crap, there's where your time goes. And you'll be able to make some decisions. I mean, we need data to make decisions, right? We can't make bricks without clay. So there's the clay. Where's your time going? Because as we've talked about before, we all have a finite amount of time and attention, right? So here's 24 hours and you're going to spend it, right? And each of those units that you spend, right, over here, over there, well, we already decided or discovered that multitasking is kind of a misnomer, right? So if I'm spending it here, I'm not spending it there. So this is a way for you to be aware of that which complicates your life, things you could say no to. Fiddling around with code for 3 hours. My friend Missy, is Missy here? She's not. My friend Missy spent, you know what? We're all family here, right? So she spent 6 hours on a tech support issue with, like the live chat and all this. And I don't think it's a secret, right? She talked about it here once before. Would she do that again? Probably not. Did it bear fruit? Well, I hope so. I don't know all the details of it. But my goodness. Now, you see, we can also say that in that way, that was an effort to make her life easier by solving a technical problem, which she did not have the ability to solve. Why it took 6 hours? Well, now I'm going to look at, who was the product provider, the service provider who needs 6 hours to just communicate something here. So in that way, hopefully her life got easier as a result of that. And look, I'm not saying to abandon your post. This is hard. I want to go do something else. Okay. So I'm not talking about on a whim that we make our life easier by just, go play video games or whatever. Okay. But I will say that there are better and not better ways that you could spend your attention. One other thing I'll mention about this, which I think is a great reminder, and I've had to do this recently, is that when I get in the thick of it, like, for example, trying to get that software to work. A better example would be, I just changed out the headlight bulbs in my motorcycle. I was fiddling with this thing. It wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. Very limited space inside, the headlight shells and everything. And so I just walked away, took a walk, did something else, rather than trying to force solutions on what was occurring as a semi-complicated problem. I just went and hit the reset button just by doing something objective, not thinking, not trying to accomplish anything, recharging the batteries, so to speak. And this costs nothing. And well, here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's summertime, right? So you don't even need to put your coat on or anything. And I'll tell you, Lindsay, these storms that come through, like, yeah, I was hanging string lights yesterday on my back lanai patio lights, right? And like, in comes the storm and the lightning and everything else. I'm up on this ladder, 17-foot ladder, and Shannon's like, "Well, if the lightning starts, you're going to come in, right?" I was like, "Hell no, hell no! This would be a great Father's Day story. We could talk. You could talk about it for like years. It'd be, yeah, my husband was up there, and bam, But then the storm passed, and anyway, the lights came out great, by the way. Any of you guys come to Clearwater, you gotta see my patio. But the idea there, what the hell was I talking about? I was talking about, doing something, objective, and just taking a walk, listen to the birds, look at the grass growing, and like, don't attempt to accomplish anything, just be in present time with the planet, right? And then come back and find how that clarity, right, and not churning, right, churning, creates more of an easy flowing experience for you and other stuff that you do. I guess one last thing I'll say about making your life easier. I already mentioned multitasking. Don't just don't. I've got, and I know, sometimes we've got to put this incomplete project over here because of the time. We got to go do the other thing, take the kids. I get it. I get it. But I will tell you that I am infinitely more productive when I'm focused on one thing at a time. I'm talking about making things easy. So it's not necessarily an easy thing that I'm doing, but it's way easier when it's not beclouded with all of the other things impinging upon it, attempting to multitask or something. A great example of that is copywriting. So I recently produced a new video sales letter for an offer that we are repackaging and relaunching. And it came out great. It came out great. But the incubation process for creating that, ultimately a video, right? But you write the script and all this, but the incubation process for that was a couple of days, where I had to, get into copywriting mode. Now, other people, they do this stuff every day. You can do it in a heartbeat, right? This is something where I could get better at it because for me, there's a lot of thought that goes into this stuff. And so I had to like get my head into, the offer and, like kind of sell it to myself first, get in the spirit of it. And then I could outflow. So I had to take stuff in before I could put stuff out. And I had to be deliberate about what stuff I was taking in. It wasn't, 10 million different things. And yes, there's a schedule and I got other things. I got to call the clients and all that. But my headspace primarily for that couple of days was in the offer and how we're going to communicate that via video. It wasn't a multitasking kind of experience. And when I actually did start writing, it just flowed, and all inputs were off. I mean, unless like the aliens were landing or dropping nukes or something, I wouldn't know because it was just me and the words. So I hope that's instructive for you guys. If you've been dealing with things that seem to be more complicated or arduous than perhaps they actually are. I'm not saying that everything in life is easy. I'm just saying it could be easier when we apply some of these ideas in terms of keeping our minds straight and in present time, avoiding the whole multitasking thing, and getting some priorities in on and some boundaries, I guess I should say, between what we're going to do and what we're going to say no, just no. That is, in my world, that's a distraction. For you, that might be like the ultimate conquest. For me, that's a distraction. You know what? I'll say one more thing. This is also instructive if you're coaching other people. Let's say you've got subordinates or you're running a sales team or whatever, and you've got newer people coming on board. So not only is it good for you to keep, on the straight and narrow, but it's also good for you to put people's attention back on, this is the thing that moves the needle. All these other things that you're talking about, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Right. And I've been accused at times of perhaps oversimplifying, because I know that, and this is something that I've seen quite often. I know that there is such a thing as work avoidance, right? We can be very busy, seemingly not moving the needle, okay, but talking and considering and, secondary and tertiary this and that, and everything but the action that we're supposed to be doing. Okay. So now my life isn't easy. I've got a million so-called problems, which are really distractions, and I'm avoiding the one thing I should be doing. Anybody ever experienced that? Work avoidance. I used to be a professional at that. All right. All right, guys. Who's got some thoughts? Any thoughts on this? How to make your life easier? Come on down. I see Daisy, Edward, Gail's here. Janet, Lindsay, Mandy. Did we lose Linda? I think Linda's technology wasn't cooperating with her. That's okay. She's here in spirit. Missy's not here. Gail, hey, come on, Gail. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I want to hear from Gail.
I don't have a lot to say, but the work avoidance, I'm very good at that.
Mm.
I'm a professional, especially if it's something that I know I don't want to do, I don't like to do. I'll have it ready and I'm going to attack that today.
Mhm.
But then I always, so many other things come up and yeah, I'll do this and do this. And then before you know it, it's too late to do the thing that I really should be doing. So I'm a professional at that. Once I really decide, okay, I've got to do it, I'll sit down and get through it and think, well, that wasn't that bad after all.
Okay.
So that's a big thing for me. And also, getting other people to do something that you're not good at. I think I have mentioned this once before somewhere. My husband was a professional chef. He was a professor at the Culinary Institute of America, and he was extremely good at that, but not at things around the house. His father was a jack of all trades. One brother was a master plumber, one was a master electrician, one was a builder. And I remember one day we had a leak in the pipe under the kitchen sink, and he kept trying to fix it. And every time he fixed it, it was still leaking, or he needed to go and get a different part. He worked on this thing for 4 hours, cursing and under the sink and all sorts of things. Finally, he gave up. He called a plumber in. The plumber came, and in 15 minutes, it was fixed. My husband never, ever again tried to do any plumbing work. He always got somebody to come in and do it for him. So, there is a lot to that. If you don't know something, get somebody who does. I think that's a lesson that I've learned from my husband.
Was it copper?
I really don't know. I don't
Okay.
think so. I think it was plastic or something. I don't know. I let him do it, and I'm not any good with things around the house either.
Right. Well, I know a lot of modern plumbing is different polymers, and and you can use glues and different things. But some like copper pipe, I remember when I was a teenager, I hung around with a plumber and I was working out the job sites and stuff. And these guys were doing what's called sweating pipes. And they would take a propane torch and solder, and they're fitting the pipes together, copper. Yeah. And they're able to heat the pipes up properly so that they put the solder in and it rolls around and it seals the pipe very nice. It's kind of like an art, right? So like that, I would never, I never got to the point where I could sweat pipes like those guys. They were plumbers, right? I was some kid. But the other thing you mentioned, as far as work avoidance, things you don't want to do or don't like to do. Interesting on that, Gail. I find that if I have some task like that I'm avoiding, it's either because I don't know how to. I've got mysteries around it, and I don't like mysteries. Okay, or I don't think I'm going to do it well. I'm going to fail.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So like laundry, I can throw laundry in the washing machine. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't have any back off on it. I can confront the laundry, whatever. There it is. It's not an issue for me. Now, other people, maybe that's the issue. So just do it. But you relate to that, Gail, the whole, mystery or, potential failure.
Yeah.
Right. Good. Thank you. Actually, on the laundry thing, everybody, I do have a friend who hates doing laundry. And I said, well, you could take it to the wash and fold down the street, never do laundry again. You could, rather than let it pile up because you're procrastinating on it and talking about how much you hate it so much, you could just, when the hamper gets half full, just like throw it in the wash, and then like that's it. It's a tiny little thing. Before you know it, it's done, and you've already hung it up. Right? That's actually my method. That's my method. I've got this little hamper, and when that's full, that's it. Throw the whole thing. I know you're supposed to separate the colors. I don't care. Okay, all I wear is black anyway. And so you throw it in the thing, and you start it, and then you throw it in the dryer, and that's it. And you hang it back up, and it's done. I mean, no time at all. So little bite-sized chunks. My daughter, on the other hand, freaking mountain of clothes. like every week, a mountain. Like who wears that many clothes? It must be kids. I hear
My
boys.
granddaughter does.
Yeah. Yeah. All they got to do is like touch the clothes and then it ends up on a pile. So very mysterious. All right. How to make your life easier. Have your kids do their laundry more often. All right. Who else? Any other thoughts?
Make your kids do their laundry.
Mhm.
I did my own laundry. That was no problem. My kids just, I'm not really sure. So I told them, I finally said, okay, you can either do your laundry and keep your room clean, or you can figure out how to pay somebody to do it because I'm done doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did that work out?
We're negotiating.
Did that work?
It's working.
Oh, well, you've just relieved yourself of complications.
Well, I've got one child that's doing his laundry and one child is actually trying to pay somebody. I'm like, he's 13. So he even asked I said, well, yeah, if you pay me, I'll do it. But I'm not doing it just because you're too lazy to go to the laundry room. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was an idea that crossed my mind because I don't know.
Okay.
An explosion went off in their room and I'm like, what do you do? Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks.
All right. So we've solved the mysteries of laundry, childcare, and work avoidance. Any other thoughts on this topic of how to make your life easier?
Well, John, some things
Janet?
like your quotation marks, start out like I can get this done in this hour and 3 hours later. So, what I try to do, I think, is to take certain categories of things like chasing down what happened with that, what was that payment, what was something, put that all in the same place, the same folder, so to speak, so that when I start doing that, it just gets done. I'm not doing it all through the day while I'm doing everything else. There is a period of time that says, okay, this is when I'm paying attention to this. This is how long I'm doing it. If I don't get through all of these things, there'll be another time slot made for it, but not like, oh, I've got to, oh yeah, here, oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I find something later on. No, put it all in one place so that those move from distractions to on purpose. Let's get this stuff sorted out and done.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the things, putting things in categories.
Beautiful, right? So compartmentalization,
Yeah,
which is not a mishmash of different things, right? So that's awesome. Making your life easier. Thanks, guys. Hey, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be covering 2 chapters from You Were Born Rich, Chapter 5, Expect an Abundance, and Chapter 6, The Law of Vibration and Attraction. So get excited, damn it. It's going to be some good content. All right. We'll wrap up with that. I will see you back here in a few hours. In the meantime, make it a great day. You absolutely deserve it. All right. Take it easy.